I'm reading Gracia, and this is the problem understanding and analysis. The project was made with the idea of making a program that will simulate the operation of a toll booth. The automated toll booth simulator outlines a systematic approach to simulating a toll booth operation. The primary objective is to facilitate the processing of vehicles, calculating corresponding toll fees based on their type, and accumulating the total amount collected during each batch of vehicles entry.
The reason that we decided on this approach was due to the idea that this can be a useful program. By initializing the total amount, it can set the foundation for tracking the financial outcome of each session. This requires proper handling of invalid entries to prevent errors and ensure that users can interact with the program seamlessly. Additionally, the program must manage the flow of processing multiple vehicles in batches, providing accurate feedback to the user.
A scanner object to read user input. Set continue processing to true. Loop until continue processing is false. Process vehicles and calculate the toll fee. Display the toll fee. Ask the user if they want to process another batch. Update continue processing based on the user response. Close the scanner object and display a farewell message. Changes made. Extracted methods for processing vehicles, getting vehicle type, calculating toll fees, and asking to continue. Improve input validation using try-catch blocks and input mismatch exception. Use a Boolean variable for continue processing instead of comparing strings. Use to lowercase to make the yes/no input case insensitive. Remove redundant comments and improve code formatting.
Hi, I'm MARICAR AVILA, and I'm explaining my part pseudocode. The program begins by initializing scanner input. Do is loop to process multiple batches of vehicles, starting by initializing total amount to 0 and number of vehicles to 0. When number of vehicles less than equals to 0, this loop ensures that the user inputs a valid positive number of vehicles to process. If the input is an integer, is not positive, the program prompts the user to try again. For loop from 0 to number of vehicles, -1. For each vehicle, the user will input vehicle type. Before this, variable choice, valid input, and toll fee are initialized. While not valid input, this loop ensures that the user inputs a valid vehicle type from available option. It checks whether input is an integer. If so, it switches between the vehicle types and sets a corresponding toll fee. Case 1, a toll fee of 50 pesos. Case 2, a toll fee of 100 pesos. Case 3, a toll fee of 150 pesos. And case 4, a toll fee of 200 pesos. If an invalid type is entered, the loop continues until a valid type is input. Total amount positive equals toll fee. After a valid vehicle type is chosen, toll fee is for the vehicle is added to the total amount. Print total amount collected from this batch. After all the vehicles in the batch has been processed, the total amount of toll fees is displayed. While choice is not 1 or 2, after a batch is processed, the program asks the user whether they want to process another batch. The user can input 1 for yes to process another batch, 2 for no to exit the program. If the input is invalid, the user is prompted to try again. Print thank you for using the toll booth simulator when the user decides to stop processing more batches by entering to the Program prints a thank you message and ends.
Hello everyone, I am BORBORAN and today I will be explaining to you the flowchart which I made. We will first start by initializing the variables which we will be using for the code. It is the continue choice, total amount paid, choice, input validator, motorcycle, car, bus, and truck. It will then ask the user to input a vehicle type that they wish to toll. It will then read the input and check if the input is valid. If it is not valid, it will display invalid input, please enter a number, and then loop back into checking the user's input. If the user's input is valid, it will then check the choice which the user has inputted. If it is 1, if it is 2, 3, or 4. If the user's let's say the user chooses 1, it will then print out the cost of the motorcycle and then after printing the cost of the motorcycle, it will print out the total amount collected for this batch is, and then the total amount paid. It will then ask the user, do you want to process another vehicle? 1 for yes, 2 for no. If they say no, it will then print out thank you for using the toll booth simulator, and the program will end. If they say yes, it will loop back into the choice again, the 4 choices. For example, let's say what if the user says puts in 5? That's not part of the that's not part of the choices. It will print out invalid choice, please select a valid vehicle type. It will only print this out if the user shows 5 or higher number. If the user inputs letters or characters such as A, B, C, or D, it will print out invalid input, please enter a number. Thank you.
This Java program simulates a toll booth systems where a user can input details about several vehicles, and the program will calculate the total toll collected based on the vehicle types. The program starts by prompting the user to enter the number of vehicles they want to process. It validates this input, ensuring the user enters positive integer. Once a valid number is entered, the program loops through each vehicle, asking for a vehicle type. The options are motorcycle, car, bus, or truck, each with a specific toll fee of 50 pesos for a motorcycle, 100 for a car, 150 for a bus, and 200 for a truck. If the user enters an invalid vehicle type, they are prompted to try again. For each valid vehicle type entered, the program adds the corresponding toll fee to a running total for that batch of vehicles. Once all the vehicles in the batch are processed, the total toll amount collected is displayed. After completing a batch, the program asks the user if they want to process another batch, with 1 indicating yes and 2 meaning no. If the user chooses yes, a new batch begins. If they choose no, the program ends and thanks the user for using the toll booth simulator. This code uses a scanner object to take input and includes checks to ensure only valid entries are processed, making the experience smoother and more user-friendly.
Welcome to our presentation on the toll booth simulator program written in Java. This program simulates the processing of vehicles at the toll booth. The program begins by importing the scanner class for user input. It contains a main method where all the action takes place. Initially, it prompts the user to enter the number of vehicles to process. The program ensures that the input is a positive integer. If the input is invalid, it prompts the user again. Next, for each vehicle, the program displays a menu of vehicle types: motorcycle, car, bus, and truck. It uses a loop
to ensure the user selects a valid option, calculating the corresponding toll fee for each type. As the user inputs vehicle types, the program accumulates the total toll amount collected for that batch of vehicles. Once all vehicles are processed, it displays the total amount collected. Finally, the program asks the user if they want to process another batch of vehicles. If the user chooses yes, the loop continues. If no, the program thanks the user and exits. This program demonstrates the use of loops, conditionals, and input validation in Java.
So, Dangal greetings, I'm James Iwan DALMACIO and I'll discuss about the program output. So, the user submits 3 vehicles to be processed by the toll booth simulator. The simulator then prompts the user to input the type of vehicles. Once the user enters the vehicle information, the simulator calculates the total amount collected for that batch. Afterward, the simulator asks if the user would like to process another batch. If the answer is yes, the process will repeat, and the simulator continues to calculating the tolls. If the user is finished, the user will ask once more if they want to proceed. If the answer is no, the program will close and thanking the user for using it. So in this part, the user inputs an invalid variable, entering a letter instead of a number. As a result, the code doesn't recognize it, and the output is invalid input. The simulator prompts the user to enter a valid number again.
In this output, the simulator asks the user to enter the number of processes. If the input is valid, it moves on. If not, it asks again until a valid number is entered. The simulator then asks the user to enter a vehicle type. If the input is invalid or not on the list, it will ask again until a valid vehicle is provided. Once the vehicle type is valid, the simulator calculates the total amount of collected for that batch. After calculation, the simulator asks the user if they want to process another batch. Enter 1 for yes or 2 for no. If the input is invalid, it asks again until a valid choice is entered.
Hi, my name is JHONPAUL de CONSORTE from 1CSA, and I'm the one who will explain the number 5 and 6 sample bug. So, in this sample bug number 5, the user enter a number of vehicles to process. When the user input a valid variable, the next step is they will ask the user to enter the vehicle type. If the variable that you enter is invalid, it's not going to work and become an invalid input. So the simulator asks again the user to enter a number. For the last sample bug, which is the sample bug number 6, the simulator asks the user to enter a number. When the variable is valid, the process will going to continue, and when the process is done, the simulator will going to calculate the total amount that are collected in this batch. Then, the simulator asks the user if they want to process another batch, and choose 1 for yes and 2 for no. When the user enter an invalid variable, the program will not going to work, and the simulator will going to ask again the user if they want to process another batch. That's all. Thank you.